Go to
Intentionally.
Anton first.
Intentionally.
Yeah,
No.
Anton
I'm not
first.
asking Anton this question because now I'm going to introduce the topic. Marriage is a business. True or false? Anton.
True. And as a matter of fact, marriage is best for poor people.
Okay. And what?
It's because marriage is designed for people that don't have anything, for them to be able to get ahead, because you can pull 10 times your weight with two people versus pulling double your weight just by yourself. And so that's where, you know, the understanding of it, and I'm not even gonna get into the spiritual aspect of it, but the understanding of it from a business perspective, by default, women look at it from a business perspective because they want the best available option. That's what makes them hypergamous, right? They want a guy that meet expectations, and that's why they're trained not to date based off of potential, but to date based off of where a guy already is.
Security.
Conversely, which women don't understand, is that it's no incentive for a guy that's already there to marry somebody, because again, it's based off of the idea of building with you.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So if I don't need kids, if I'm already have my children, if I'm already successful, I don't really need to help me. You know what I'm saying? And we even changed the words to say partner. That's not the concept of what marriage is, right? That's not how a business works. We remix every single thing to mean something completely different. And then we apply it differently when it comes to relationships, when in every other aspect of our life, whether we go to work, it's always gonna be somebody ahead of you.
Okay.
It's always gonna be a CEO, a CFO, you know what I'm saying? A CTO, Chief Technology Officer. It's always a hierarchy. And then the buck got to stop somewhere else. Because if they come to us and they say, well, what happened to y'all crib? They're not gonna come to you. They're coming to me.
They're gonna come to you. You're absolutely
You
right.
see what I'm saying? But you want a partnership because you want to share in being able to say what you want to say and do what you want to do. But at the same time, you yearn for leadership, and that's why they call me a groom. And so I don't think that most people understand what marriage is, and that's why we remixing it and changing it to mean something completely different, which is also inspiring people to say what they do and don't want based off of their experiences. It's a whole nother concept. But this is weird, again, to hear women say that they don't want it or that they indifferent about it, because that's your natural yearning is to seek leadership or guidance or covering.
Your natural yearning could be that, but what happens when you've seen so many situations go left? For example, a lot of your views on marriage is positive because you told us yesterday that you had 9 people that's
on my mother's side.
On your mom's side alone.
And
that's
my father's
married.
side, I've never seen divorce.
Cool. So you
That's
are
good.
raised around marriage. So that's normal to you. For some people that grew up in toxic environments or in single parent households or anything like that, they might not have seen a healthy situation, a healthy marriage, or even understand how that could even work.
Correct.
Could you see how that throw them off sometimes?
100%. But then the kids pay for the sins of their parents.
Yikes.
And so ultimately, what you see people experience is just a reflection of the people that came before them.
Yeah.
So we need to stop holding each other accountable and go to your mother and your father and ask them why they fucked up.
A lot of mothers and fathers not ready to have that conversation.
So
And be in denial, because it be times when you bring up old shit to your parents and they be like, it didn't happen like that. That never happened.
Yeah.
That never happened.
I want to say too, so you made a point that stood out to me, that women naturally yearn for leadership and everything, but can you only get that by marrying a man? Could you be with somebody and he can lead you and y'all be together forever until one of y'all crossed over and he doesn't have to be your husband?
It has to be your husband.
It has to be your
Yeah,
husband.
because he ain't finna cut the buck unless he know for a fact, because just like it means a lot to most women, it means a lot to men too, because that man gotta go shopping for that ring. He gotta get down on his knee. He gotta already, go through the motions of, is this the right decision or not? Because marriage is hard for a man to actually commit, because you wanna make sure you're doing it right. Most people see how men getting played, especially if you know for a fact you got potential. You don't wanna be played, you know what I'm saying? Or even waste that time, or even be on the papers where you trying to take care of a woman that you're not with. So you pretty much gonna,
I'll do you one better. Would you go and work for somebody without an actual agreement? And would you actually say that you work for this job without actually getting some real paperwork and benefits and all of the stuff that go along with it?
Come on.
I mean,
That's a good question, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
The thing with marriage for me is that everybody speaks about marriage in this idealistic way, you know, like the best of its potential. I have rarely seen that, right? But not only in my family, I do couples counseling, I do, advice, people, advice calls with people who've been divorced and married 3 times, 4 times. Like, a lot of people get married for the wrong reason, you know? So it's like, when I think of marriage, it's not that I don't think about it in a good light, but it's just that I just don't know that everybody really observes it in the manner in which, people would think of it in its best.
It's a difference between being married and being successfully married. And that's the thing that people don't understand. They seek the title, but they don't seek the understanding.
Right.
Right? And so I'll give you an example.
Come on.
One of the things that I say to my wife all the time, and I said this since I got with her, is that we're going to spend 1% of the time on the things that we don't care about each other. And we're going to spend 98, 99% of our time on the things that we care about, or the things that I like about you. Because I'm not trying to change you, right? I'm trying to unleash you. I'm trying to really help you to understand your potential. And as a matter of fact, so much so to where I think that marriage is a business first because the love comes with it. Right? And again, my principles is based in spirituality. Even the way that I live my life. It's not based off of money. It's seek ye first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and everything else will be added unto you. Yeah. My purpose will ultimately yield the results. And it's the same thing when it comes to my family. If I go about doing things the right way, if I go about being a leader that I'm supposed to be, leadership often at times comes from your father. And that's why he walks you down the aisle. It's a covering the covering, and you're never supposed to be without that form of leadership that ultimately shows you what a man is supposed to be.
That's true.
And so if you've never experienced that, and you don't really understand what grooms look like, right? Because he's continuing to hold you accountable while at the same time, he's doing it in love. If I get on you and I say, hey, listen, don't go over there. I don't want you doing that. You gonna listen to me because you know I got your best interest at heart versus trying to boss you around. You see what I'm saying? So a lot of people have never experienced that.
I might want a little bit of the explanation on why not to go. I'm gonna listen, but I just like,
And
I like to know the full story.
I can give you the understanding.
Okay.
Right?
That's all I need.
And I value you so much because I understand how great you are to me that I want to hear what you got to say.
That's good.
Right? Because I also understand that you have a talent too.
Yeah.
And so because you have a talent and because you have value, I'm taking into consideration everything that you say.
Yeah.
But it's not only the women who don't really know what is supposed to be happening. The men don't know.
I agree.
Either, so everybody's situation is different, of course. But when people speak about like their upbringing and stuff, it's always like what women didn't see, but men didn't see it either.
I agree. But at the same time, how many of y'all actually got into a relationship based off of love and it didn't work?
All the time.
Everybody.
Come on now.
Yeah.
So
that's just a feeling.
So should marriage be based off of love first?
Nope.
If that's the thing that you're saying that you've experienced, but it never worked?
I don't want to marry a man just because yes, love. I get what you're saying. I love you. I love you to death. But before we say I do and really become husband and wife, I honestly want us both to have our shit together.
Yeah, you need to say I will. I will do this.
Like I don't want to walk into a situation with a man that don't have their stuff together, and I don't want him to marry a woman that don't have their stuff together. So while we're dating with a purpose. We're dating because we talked about marriage. We know we want to get married one day, But in the meantime, before we take that next step, we gonna build ourselves up to be the people that we want to be when we walk down that aisle. I want to have my finances together. I want to have, be established.
So is it security basically?
Yeah,
what you're saying?
And it's like I don't. It's gonna turn into a situation where anything can happen in life. I've dealt with men where I was the breadwinner in the situation, and I knew for a fact I can't marry this man because you want me to follow you, but I'm paying all the bills.
But why was you with him in the first place?
Love, literally
Exactly.
loving somebody.
Useless,
That's
useless
why I
feeling.
said,
Love
it
should not be
love
based
is
off of
not
love.
everything.
All right, so I got a question. I saw a post recently that said that basically it's no need for men to get married, that men do not benefit in marriage.
That's not true.
Chulo, do you think there's any truth to that?
Nah. You know what I'm saying? Not at all. I know what benefits I do get from being married. I get being tied down to one woman. Imagine me with all this money out here, just and all these women out
With
here.
all the hoes. Oh
You know
my
what I'm
God.
saying? You gotta
But
think
you
about-
the horror.
And you get a life partner.
You get a person who just literally there for you.
That's your
tapping
person.
in with your mindset, only worried about what you thinking at the end of the day, wouldn't worry about how you doing at the end of the day. That one person.
I don't think that most men today, based off of how society is set up, that they do benefit from marriage though. Again, and it's a difference between being married and being successfully married.
Let's talk about
Yeah.
that. Why do you think that?
Well, I mean, for example, things have changed. Times have changed. Women are now equal, right? They got more rights. They can vote. They can pick the jobs that they want, so on and so forth. But one of the things that haven't been updated is family court laws. They advocate against that. Right? When Kelly Clarkson had to pay child support, everybody was in an uproar. Nobody tripped about Tyrese though. You know what I'm saying? Nobody
Actually made
tripped
fun of
about it.
Tyrese.
But my point is, like the Harrison Ford
All right,
situation,
we'll
I'll give you an
skip
example, right? They had a prenuptial agreement. But at the same time, the judge understood, because they was in California, that they could leverage child support in lieu of alimony in order to still get as much money as she wanted out of him. And so as a result, she leveraged her kids in order to get more resources.
Yikes.
But how much does it really cost for a kid to be able to be successful?
Yeah.